here's the salad. Look how delicious that looks. It looks so good. I really like this because of the different flavors and textures. It's a little crunchy, it's a salty, it's lemony. It's got all sorts of things going on in here. And let's see. You hear that? The cucumber is so crunchy. Welcome to Nourish Nutrition, where we're not following the recipe. Cooking, for one, requires a little bit of using what you've got and adapting recipes to make it work. So I'm here to show you how to do that. I'm Rebecca, dietitian and home cook behind the scenes at Nourish Nutrition blog, and I'll show you how to not follow the recipe. So today I'm really excited to show you how to make a very easy cucumber and beet salad. Now, this salad is really adaptable. I'm gonna make it using what we've got, hence the not following the recipe part. And it's a great way to use up, maybe if you've got a garden or have access to one, like I do, to use up some late summer beets and also cucumber. So let's get started. All right, so this recipe originally calls for beets, cucumber, feta cheese, lemon, olive oil, red pepper flakes. So I thought I'd start to use up some of my almonds, so I'm going to chop those up and add them to the salad. All right, so I'm gonna start here by making my dressing. I'm making this first because I'm adding it directly to the bowl that I'm gonna be mixing the salad in. And this is kind of a large bowl for as much salad as is gonna be in here, but it's nice to have the space to mix it evenly and easily. So that's why I chose a larger bowl. And I'm going to be making my vinaigrette dressing. See how much lemon juice I can get out of this. Less lemon, not a whole lot. So typically vinaigrettes are about 3 parts oil and 1 part vinegar or acid. And I like more acidity to my dressing. So I usually do about half and half. You can do whatever proportion works for you. If you like things more acidic like I do, then go for half and half, or do the 3-to-1. We're gonna get a lot of texture from all of this lemon, all the parts of the lemon, and will add extra flavor, which is great. So I need more lemon, and since I've got a nice fresh whole lemon, I'm just gonna grate some zest in here. Again, not following the recipe, kind of using what I've got and what sounds good. All right, so now I've got more lemon juice, and I'll keep an eye on seeds. I can see a couple. Ooh, I can see a lot falling out. So I'm gonna use my fork to fish these out. Sometimes I find that a little bit easier than trying to pull them out or slice them out beforehand, especially since there's some not right at the cut side of the lemon. Now that I have an idea about how much of the lemon juice that I have, I'm gonna add about the same amount of olive oil. Again, I kind of like my ratio to be half and half versus 3-to-1. Do what you prefer. This looks nice. To give it a little bit of a whisk with a fork, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. I can always add more. And some red pepper flakes. Always add more of that as well. But that way, just to kind of get it just sitting, I don't know, marinating. It's not marinated anything, but all of the flavors are melding together. I'm gonna set this aside. So I'm starting with my almonds because as I chop the cucumbers and beets, my cutting board's gonna get wet and I don't wanna have to dry it off. So I'm just gonna do this first. Find it a little bit easier to cut nuts while they're dry. They're gonna get wet in the dressing itself with all the vegetables, but that's okay. And then you can just chop them as fine as you want. Again, next I'm gonna slice up my cucumber. So I'm starting with an Armenian cucumber, which is delicious. I really, really like these. This cucumber, I picked it kind of late, and I don't I usually really like the seeds, but I don't want to eat the seeds because they're just overripe in my opinion. So I'm just gonna get the seeds out of here. But if your cucumber is nicely ripened and you like the seeds, go ahead and keep those. All right, so I'm just gonna use just a spoon and scoop out these seeds here. I'm gonna get a little bit of, so you can't really see the indentations from the seeds, and that way I found that the rest of this cucumber part is really nice and not too ripe. And the cuts that I made kind of didn't really matter. I ripped them up and those were different. So now I'm just gonna slice my cucumbers. I am always a fan of bite-sized pieces. I'd rather not have to slice things up again, especially in a salad. So that's just my preference. And back to these, it's kind of a big, let's see if I can cut all these together. So I am a big fan of these Armenian cucumbers. I don't think it's really easy to find. I don't think you can really get them at the grocery store, but maybe grow them yourself or get them at a farmer's market potentially. But I really like these cucumbers because they're so nice and crunchy. The flavor is mild. The skin is not bitter at all. The seeds are usually good, but I'm not eating them in this because they're too ripe. But look at this, and they're just interesting looking. I think they're great. So I love them. I'm gonna transfer these to the dressing. Now I'm going to grab a couple slices of beets. These beets are steamed. They were steamed. I steamed them in my Instant Pot, and I kind of prefer to do that. It's just so easy and a little bit less time consuming than than roasting them. And the flavor is great. They're not quite as sweet as if you were to roast them, but I think they're great as is. As you can tell, these beets are quite light in color. I got these from my sister's garden and was expecting kind of the traditional dark red beets, and they're not, but they're delicious and they're great. So using what I've got. So I'm adding my beets. I'm not really measuring these. I would maybe do, I don't know, 1 to 2 cups total for yourself if you want this for salad for one. Or this recipe is gonna be very easy to double or triple or quadruple or whatever if you're making it for a crowd. As you can tell, I'm just mixing the beets and cucumber in the dressing by themselves. I want to let these sit for a little bit, maybe as long as you can, so they can really take up the flavors. Now I'm letting my salad just sit for a little bit. Again, it's just the vegetables in the dressing, and that can help the vegetables take on the flavors of the dressing and really become much more flavorful. I'm gonna test it afterward and then add in the toppings. But before we get to that, I wanted to share a couple of ideas of how to use this. So this recipe is great, but as you can tell, it's vegetables. It's gonna be delicious. It's not gonna fill you up. So what I've done in the past with this recipe, especially as I've been testing it, I added some barley and chickpeas to it that were left over from another recipe. That was really good. Added that plus the feta cheese and all the other toppings. Nice, satisfying, kind of lighter salad. So if you're interested in adding some bread to that, or maybe extra chickpeas for more protein, that'll work too. You can serve it with, let's see, so many options. It could be a great side for some sort of a barbecue. So I'm gonna stir this again. You know, you could let this sit 10-15 minutes and that would really help the flavors of the dressing come out. And this is really looking like some sort of a poke bowl with these beets. If you wanted to add some tuna to it, nice sushi grade tuna for a super fancy, exciting meal, go for it. I just tasted this. It was very lemony. I really like the acid, but I want to cut down on that just a little bit. especially since I'm adding feta to this dressing or to the salad. It's gonna add more saltiness and a little bit of that tang. So I don't want it to be too overpowering. I don't want to feel it in my jaw. Well, maybe just a tiny bit. The nice thing about cooking for one, you can use your fingers. You don't have to worry about double dipping. That's much better with a little bit extra dressing. All right, now that the vegetables are all chopped and ready to go, I'm just gonna be assembling my salad here. I've got some feta cheese. These are kind of nice recipes that you don't really have to measure everything for. You want an idea for how much you want in general, and especially for the dressing. But kind of these toppings, just add some, stir it up, see if it seems like enough. Let it fall everywhere. That looks nice to me. So that's good on the feta. I put my nuts on the lid of the jar to save them so I don't have to get out another container. So I have some nuts in there. I think that was it. I don't think I need to add anything else to it. Stir it up, give it another taste, see if I need to add any seasonings to it, maybe more red pepper flakes. It didn't taste too much like that. To seem more legit, I guess I could use a fork. But again, I'm the one eating them, so doesn't matter. But if you are sharing, making this for others, definitely don't use your fingers like I am. I think I went a little too hard on the olive oil. So adding a tiny bit more lemon. Even see if I can zest this. Yeah, that works just fine. Get more zest in here. So much lemon flavor in the zest and so easy to get. You can even keep lemon, what do you call this? Keep the lemon outside part, slice it up and then add it when you're running your disposal. I want a little bit more pepper. The salad is great. It's really easy. Lots of things that you can serve it with. Enjoy it by yourself or serve it for a party or for others. And I'm curious what you would add to it. Any other toppings that you think would be great with this or a main dish to go with it? Put it in the comments and let me know. I'm really curious to see what you would like this with. And then if you want the full recipe is below in the description below. And like and subscribe if you want to see more of this. Thanks. Is this in focus? It'd be a great side for a barbecue. So if you're making grilled burgers or